है, तब तक बात। लिंक मुझे भी शेयर कर देना है आगे लाइव।
यस सर, मैं कर देती
कर दूं या
चैनल पे जा रही हूँ सर।
ये लिंक शेयर कर दो।
यस सर, ये पहले वाला मुझे बता रहा है तो मैं इसको पहले रिमूव करूँ।
ये वाला लिंक मैं करूं क्या, अभी वाला?
नहीं सर, हो जाएगा तो। यस
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
सर। सर का भी ऑडियो कनेक्ट। गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
Let me share the screen if you can do that.
Okay sir, I am making first as a co-host. Okay.
Okay, तो स्क्रीन शेयर के लिए अलाउ कर दीजिए।
हाँ कर दिया सर, अभी बस हो रहे हैं आप नाउ। हाँ सर, अब कर सकते हैं आप।
अच्छा, देखता हूँ, करता हूँ।
हेलो,
Don't know how to do. किसी को बुलाना, ये खान नहीं तो ये मैडम।
हेलो सर, पार्टिसिपेंट्स ज्वाइन होने लग गए, ज्वाइन कर दीजिए।
हाँ करा लो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, करा लो।
ओके।
Yes sir, now you started sharing screen.
But I
मेल में
got
चले गए
stuck.
पर
So
आप।
just give me a few minutes. I got stuck here.
Okay okay sir.
ये मेरा ये शेयर स्क्रीन होता है ना, तो मेरा ये डेस्कटॉप में है, कैसे?
हाँ सर, आपने कहाँ पे ऐसे कर
डेस्कटॉप
डेस्कटॉप पे कहाँ पे ऐसे?
अच्छा सुन लेता बेटा, तो मेरी सुन लेता है, बता से
हो गया।
आवाज यहाँ पे अभी आपका मीटिंग नहीं कैंसिल मिनिमाइज कर दीजिए साइड में। Yeah.
The screen is visible, Rajiv
Yes,
ji?
sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay. My voice is audible?
Yeah, yes, sir. Very much.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. 9 minutes to go, sir. Actually, the time is 12 p.m.
ठीक है. There are a few minutes.
Yeah, few minutes.
10 minutes there.
Yeah.
अभी कोई अंदर नहीं आएगा. एक घंटे. Mostly participant will be students and faculty.
Faculty, sir. It is 75% faculty, 25% students. Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upendra Dhar is with us, sir.
Dr.
Mukherjee, sir.
Dhar, we never met, but I know you quite a lot.
How are you?
And I'm fine. I know that, you are with our university at Jaipur when I was on JK.
Yes.
And also in ISTD, I am also NC member in Delhi. But
Okay.
we never cross our roads.
Yeah. So we were destined to meet on Zoom.
Yeah, destined to meet you.
So you are with the Ghaziabad only, IMS Ghaziabad continuing there?
Yeah, I'm continuing there and I stay at Delhi, but I work here as a director for the last 5 years.
Okay, very good. So are we starting now, Rajiv Shukla ji?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah. I'm Madam. Join.
Kya hua? There is some problem? Shukla ji?
No, sir. Madam is joining.
Okay.
Dhar Madam is joining. Sir, actually, we have to start by 12 p.m., sir. So there is 5 minutes. Yeah. Hello.
What is the position at Ghaziabad, Professor Mukherjee?
Ghaziabad, Delhi is a very big crisis. Delhi is a
Yeah.
big crisis. And, I'll just give you one example. My wife worked in a Max hospital in Saket. Okay, in her hospital, in her department, 28 people got infected.
Oh, 28.
Imagine the amount of transmission is going on. Whether we agree or disagree, that is different thing, but local transmission is going on.
Spread has already started.
Huh?
It appears that community spread has already
Yes,
started.
exactly. So whether you don't accept it, and many people move around in the road without any marks and these type of things, because they thought, okay, it will not be for us or something. That precaution, that things is not there. The huge amount of local transmission is going on. This hostel also under quarantine center. So they want to do convert to the COVID hospital also. So, so far they have not done it, but they have a plan to convert this hostel, college hostel as a quarantine center.
Yeah.
A huge shortage of medical staff in all hospitals and nursing homes and testing labs. So nobody now can manage this because things has gone beyond control now.
It appears that we have to learn to live with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe next 2 years will be like this only.
Exactly. But I think infection is not so serious or not severe. So many people can be recovered at his own due course. That is a good point of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Need a ventilator and this is not so much. So that is a good part of it. So hopefully that. But aged like you and me always will be under tension because the comorbidity, age and everything will be always there.
So we should not be under tension, but yes, precautionary measures are to be taken.
Yes.
We have to be cautious. Cautious and be happy. Don't give any chance to coronavirus that we are under tension.
Yes.
Okay.
डॉक्टर मुखर्जी नमस्कार।
प्रोफेसर ठीक है, ठीक है। मंडल सर हैज ज्वाइंड सर, मुखर्जी सर।
म्यूट है क्या?
या डॉक्टर मुखर्जी
नहीं, तो माइक ऑन है।
हाँ, माइक तो ऑन है।
हाँ।
मुखर्जी सर।
हाँ जी।
या प्रोफेसर मंडल हैज आल्सो ज्वाइंड।
ओके।
वेलकम डॉक्टर मुखर्जी।
वेलकम वेलकम।
ऑल सेट? आप चेक कर लिया अपने स्लाइड वगैरह?
हाँ, चेक कर लिया सर।
अभी आवाज ठीक है सर आज?
हाँ, आज ठीक है आवाज आपकी।
क्लियर है, ठीक है। वो मैं ब्लूटूथ यूज नहीं करूंगा। इसका यूट्यूब का लिंक भेजेंगे मेरे को?
हाँ, भेज दिया, आपको भेज दूं?
हाँ, वो तो तिवारी ज्वाइन करना चाह रहा था।
मनीषा हियर, आप मुझे co-host बना दीजिए. हेलो. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible. Waiting for Dhar madam. Okay.
The madam is there online.
I think
Welcome, madam. Good morning. आपकी आवाज नहीं, आपकी म्यूटेड है माइक्रोफोन.
Should unmute.
हाँ. Morning.
Good morning,
Good afternoon.
everybody.
yeah. Good morning,
Good
madam.
morning, ma'am.
Morning.
So we can start now. It's 12 p.m. 12 p.m. is our time.
Yes.
Yeah. So on behalf of Sri Vaishnav School of Management, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya Indore, I welcome Dr. S. Mukherjee, Director IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad, as resource person for day 2 of this 1-week webinar series on human resource management. We also welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Upender Dhar, Dr. Santosh Dhar Madam, Dean Faculty of Doctoral Studies and Research and Distinguished Professor of Management, Sri Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya, Indore, my colleagues, Professor Mandal, faculty colleagues, and dear participants of this webinar. Today's topic is competency mapping for talent development. And it is very much relevant to the changing scenario of jobs, business, and work models due to pandemic COVID-19. Changing dynamics of business environment requires different skill sets. And one of them is essentially that is to be updated is the technology awareness. So with these words, now I invite Dr. Santosh Dhar for the welcome address. Madam, over to you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Upender Dhar, respected resource person, Dr. Shravan Mukherjee, Dr. Rajiv Shukla, Dr. T.K. Mandal, other faculty colleagues and participants, a warm welcome to this webinar on competency mapping for talent development. From the perspective of the employer, competency mapping increases awareness of existing skill sets as well as skills gap in the organization. This helps to make informed decisions when it comes to align the learning of the existing employees with the required skills. And talent development is a set of integrated organizational HR processes designed to attract, develop, motivate, and retain productive, engaged employees. The goal of talent development is to create a high-performance, sustainable organization that meets its strategic and operational goals and objectives. Today, we have with us Dr. Shravan Mukherjee, Director, IMS Engineering College, Ghaziabad, as our resource person. Before I invite him, may I request Honorable Vice Chancellor to inaugurate this webinar by his opening remarks.
Good day to all of you, because neither we are in morning nor afternoon, so good day. Well, at the outset, I would like to welcome our own old colleague, Dr. Mukherjee. Both of us have been working together in JK Group. He was in industry and I was in the university. Way back, I think now more than a decade back. As we know that COVID-19 has disrupted everything across the globe, businesses, non-business organizations, and so on. But then anything that begins comes to an end. So COVID-19 also is not an unending process. It's going to end one day. But then it is envisaged that post-COVID-19 is going to bring a different kind of environment. Say if we specifically talk about workplace environment is going to be different. Many people, many experts prefer to use the term new normal. So new normal will emerge when we'll be seeing people around us, but limited in number. We'll be seeing people doing certain things which they were not doing earlier. We'll be seeing people who are working from home and so on and so forth. So new set of skills may be required for doing new kinds of tasks. Therefore, it has a bearing on, it has an impact on the competence mapping. So the way we have been doing the competence mapping, which is the process for identifying the skills, abilities, knowledge for performing a particular set of jobs or tasks. Same way, when the nature of jobs is going to change, that means we have to go in for advanced level of competency mapping to quickly. Why I say advanced level? Because we have to do it quickly. Once we open up and industry comes towards normalcy, we shall have to act fast and identify the skills which will be required to perform the new jobs. Upskill those who are already possessing certain set of skills, but then some of the skills may become obsolete and new skill sets are to be identified and development. I think Dr. Mukherjee has very appropriately titled this presentation as competency mapping for talent management. So the talent we shall have to manage, perhaps slightly differently from what we used to do earlier. So talent first is to be identified and then it is to be groomed and developed. So we're sure that Dr. Mukherjee's experience will be very appropriate for us to understand the changes that can be envisaged, the changes that can be visualized, and how we'll be able to overcome the difficulties and at the same time cope with the challenges and come out as winners. So with these words, I'm very happy to inaugurate this second session of the webinar series that we started yesterday. Yesterday, we had another friend from JK itself, top of my day. Deb was the speaker yesterday. And today we have Dr. Mukherjee. So over to Dr. Mukherjee. Thank you very much.
Yeah, yes, sir. Before that, I invite Professor Mandal to introduce Dr. Mukherjee to the audience. Professor Mandal.
Okay. Respected Vice Chancellor, Dr. Dhar, Madam Dhar, Dr. Rajiv Shukla, Director of the School of Management, my colleagues and friends. It's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Mukherjee to all of you. A little bit in detail, although I'll try to squeeze it as much as possible in the interest of time. Dr. Mukherjee is a PhD from IIT Delhi. By qualification, basic qualification, he's an engineer. He has also graduated from the ACTP program of the ICF, International Coaching Federation. He's trained in administering and interpreting individual and organizational assessments and qualified for the administration of MBTI. We all know about MBTI. Dr. Mukherjee is also licensed for the administration of DISC. This is a rules by MHS. He has over 30 years of experience, very rich mix of industry as well as academics. And he has been, as Vice Chancellor said, heading with various critical HR assignments, including technical leadership, competency assessment and enhancement, HR planning, and organizational development, and etc. etc. He consulted a large number of corporations as well in the areas of competency mapping, leadership development, and people development areas. And some of the names are very well known, like ONGC, NTPC, ONIDA, Alcatel, Lucent, Thomson Press, and so on. So forth. The list is pretty long. Dr. Mukherjee has published quite a few papers in peer-reviewed sections of international journals. Some of the journals are Journal of Coaching in Organizations, European Journal of Mentoring and Coaching, International Journal of Evidence-Based Coaching and Mentoring, and so on and so forth. He also published 2 books, one named Corporate Coaching, The Essential Guide. This was published by Tata McGraw-Hill. And the second one is Competency Mapping for Superior Results, Getting Maximum for Your Talent. So with this kind of background, as the previous speakers pointed, I re-emphasize that we are perhaps in one of the best hands in hearing about competency mapping for talent development, particularly in the context of post-COVID situation. So welcome once again, Dr. Mukherjee. Over to you, please.
Thank you, Professor Upendra Darji, because it's a great pleasure to meet you on the Zoom and also to get this opportunity to speak with a distinguished faculty and the students of SVSM School of Management. Thank you, Rajiv Shuklaji, Dr. Mandal, Dr. Santoshji, for your introductory talks. Competency mapping, I was working for almost 20 years. I was in corporate, and also I have written a book on the competency mapping in 2011, and it was published by Tata McGraw-Hill. The heading of the book was Competency Mapping for Superior Results, Getting the Maximum from Your Talents. So that's why I took that topics here, that competency mapping and talent management. I really also 100% agree with Professor Dar's view. Whatever the competency has been identified for the organization for the last 5 years or 10 years may not be as relevant because the things has changed. The context has changed. The organization will be working different ways, but different way the competency need to be looked at it. So my job will be here to just briefly introduce the concepts and how it goes about it.
Sir, please share your screen, sir.
Yeah, I don't know where the screen has gone.
Yeah. It is visible, sir.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yeah, yes, sir, visible.
Okay, let me start with the talent. Okay, so CIPD, that is Chartered Institute of Personnel Management and Development of UK-based organization, defined the talent as those individuals who can make a difference to the organizational performance, either to their immediate contribution or in the longer run, by demonstrating highest level of potential. So talents are the people who has got a potential and who can help in the organizational performance immediately or future. So the 2 terms comes here, performance and potential. If you look at these 2 terms, then you have to see that in an organization, who are my talents? An organization of hundreds and thousands of people. They are all cannot be talents. There are people who are a good performer. There are people good have a potential, but combination of performance and potential is important to identify the talents. The second word comes in this mind is the talent management. This talent management is defined as a systematic attraction, identification, development, engagement, retention, and deployment of those individuals who are particular value to your organization, either in view of their high potential for the future or because they are fulfilling some critical role in business. So talent management has a 5 components: attraction, identification, development, engagement, retention, and deployment. The competency mapping worked primarily in the area of identification of talents and development of talents. I'll discuss that 2 things more in details when I will coming back to the competency mapping part. So competency mapping is very useful, identifying the talent either within the organization or hiring a new talent from the outside, hiring any person from outside. And whatever the talent you have identified in the organization, what type of development need they have. For that, the competency mapping is one of the important tools in a human resource function. The question comes then, what is competency? Is it audible to everybody?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah.
Now, what is competency? As Professor Dora was talking about knowledge, that is what the knowledge, how much information and understanding the individual has got, what are the skill that person has got, and what are the abilities, meanings, how he knows that job to be done, what sequence, and accordingly, these three combinations create a competency. There are many definitions of competency, but simple, what I've defined actually in my book, the competency as a cluster of individual behaviors that lead to superior results in one aspect of a job. So two things comes here: cluster, individual behaviors, superior results. So whenever talking the competency, we are looking is what are the behaviors and what lead to superior results. So that's will leak how we can find it out. What are the behaviors can give superior results? What are the behaviors may not be functional or maybe dysfunctional for getting a performance of an organization? If you look as a human being, all of us have a certain personality traits. And these personality traits, from that, we develop a motives. With the motives, we develop certain value system, we develop some attitudes. And then we have a certain habits, knowledge, skill, and abilities. Now, whenever you are looking at the traits, personality traits of individual, it's very difficult to change, or values to be changed, or motive to be changed. What can be done? A change is in the outer periphery, that is surface level, which is the part of knowledge, ability, skills, and habits, which is basically displayed in terms of behavior. So in other words, competency give a person the ability to perform, whereas attitudes give a person the desire to perform. So competence is a function of knowledge, skill, ability. I have all the knowledge, I have all the skill, I got all the abilities, but if I have no attitude to work and perform, performance will not come. So competency along with the attitudes gives a performance. Let us look at a competency as an example. Set a teamwork. Now we define the teamwork like willingness to participate as a full member of a team, which he or she is not necessarily a leader, effectively contributor even when team is working on something of no direct personal interest. Now this teamwork definition can be looked at scale of 1 to 5. The highest teamwork competency definition could be the positive behavior, encourage collaboration between the various departments within the department, and negative maybe prefer to working is a silo approach. So whenever you are measuring the teamwork, we are trying to look at it in these two continuum, positive to negative, where that person lies. Whether that person is highly collaborative or a person prefer to work in a silo. So similarly, defined competency are defined like that first, then define the positive behaviors, then define the negative behavior, and then also in between behaviors. Accordingly, each person has been evaluated where that person lies in that behavior. Now there are different types of competency: universal competency, transversal competency, and unique competency. Let us look at the three positions: marketing manager, sales manager, and customer service. You can see that the blue one, which is a common to all the three roles. That is called universal competency. There are the green one is a transferable competency. And the white one is a particularly unique to that position. Like sales forecasting is only relevant to the sales manager position. So it is a unique competency. Person, the knowledge of advertisement and promotion is related to the unique to the marketing manager position. So competencies, normally we look at the first as a core competencies or universal competency, then we look at the position-based competencies. Now, how do I measure? First of all, we have, like say, what we do is, we have a competency, then how do you measure the competency? For that, there is an assessment center. Now, the question is, we conduct an assessment center. The organization conducts an assessment center. What that assessment center does? Assessment center does a certain simulation exercise which are designed to generate behavior similar to the required to success. Like say, when we assessment center is designed, we try to see a real life situation. If person face a certain accident, say an example, or certain fire, how will behave? Or some person face a difficult negotiation, how will behave? So in organization, we have to identify certain critical behaviors or function or critical incidents. From that, we try to create an exercise who can evolve certain behavior, which is normally for a particular position. Now, what most important factors of the assessment centers are, we in the assessment center, we assess multiple competency. Normally, 6 to 10 competency are being assessed for individuals against identified competency. So first, organization identified what are the 8 or 10 competencies or 6 to 10 competencies which are critical for this role. And these roles have been defined like positive behavior, negative behavior. And this has been identified. So an assessment is being done for that all these 10 competencies. We use multiple methods. Examples are different types of exercises we do. So that multiple exercises has been conducted. Multiple people, like say 12 to 16 people come in assessment center and gone through the process. And multiple assessors, maybe 3 to 4 assessors are there. So this all together, the data from multiple exercises, multiple participants, multiple assessor, and all this data have been pulled together. And then it has been cleaned up, integrated, cleaned up, and then create an objective assessment of a person. Any question at this stage?
Sir, we can take question answers round at the last.
Okay. In assessment center, actually assessment center is not any office or any training hall or not a building. It is assessment center is basically a process, an activity which is being done in an organization. With the assessment center, there are 2 other words comes. One is the assessment center and is a development center. Assessment centers are really used for whenever you for recruiting outsider, or you are trying to identify somebody within the organization who are my talents. Then the assessment center will happen. When we identify the people who are my target group, then to identify what type of development they need, then the development center approach will go. So the process is same, methodology is same, for different purpose, different centers are being used. I have talked many times, behavior. So let us focus a little bit on the behavior. I said in that, whenever I show on the circle, concentric circle, I said the surface level, which is a knowledge, skill, ability, these have been reflected by the behavior. A person, what he does, what he say, how he does the things, how he doesn't do the things, how he act, how he work. So whatever we can see, what is visible in front of all of us or around the organization is called behavior. Very simply say. So behaviors are observable. Since we can observe, we can measure and we can assess. What cannot be measured, which cannot be seen, cannot be measured and cannot be assessed and cannot be developed. So behavior is a person what is doing, how he is doing, what he is doing, what process is doing, and accordingly we do that. And this behavior, we do the assessment. So what we do the behavior assessment? First, we observe the behavior. So in the competency center or assessment center, we create multiple exercises. And each exercise is, just take the simple example. We do one role play exercise. In role play exercise, he may be working as a manager and somebody is working as a subordinate. So in that, we will be given an incidence. And incidence, they have to do a role play exercise. And that role play exercise, the assessor, multiple assessor, will be observed the how and what that person is talking. The manager, that assessee, will be observed their behavior. And each behavior, what language is used, what word is used, what type of question they have used, what type of expression is used, what type of language, what type of voice and modulation has been used, everything has been recorded. After this recorded, then each behavior has been classified. It relates to what type of competence. It is related to teamwork or related to the execution, related to negotiation, is related to communication, or what competency it goes into. And then it evaluates what in the quantum on the 5 to 4, 1 to 5, where it stands. So that evaluation happens. So I said that multiple exercises has been done. Typically, exercises are done was a group discussion. It could be assigned role. Somebody has given a specific role, just as I said that managers and subordinate, or nobody has given a role. It's been given a 5 people. So they within themselves define who will be that doing what. We do a business analysis exercise, interview simulation where the competency-based interview is conducted. We also conduct in that exercise a role play scenario. I explained to that. There is an in-basket exercise, very interesting part of this assessment center, where a person was given lots of memos in the office. Like every day we get a lot of mails and memos and things, and then we have been given to that papers and say you go through that and decide what action we'll do in each papers and record that. So based on this, the way he's acting or reacting, the assessor assess is what competency he is displaying or what behavior is displaying. And this behavior comes in what competency and how this competency can be assessed. There is a scheduling exercise, a planning exercise, that refined fact exercise. They'll be giving a case study to go to the case study and then do the analysis, or they can do the ask to give some topics and have to give an oral presentation. Or some business scenario has been given and they say, okay, find out the solution. And that solution, you make a presentation that how you'll handle this case. So there are multiple exercises. Normally, 6 to 8 exercises have been administered in this. Now, why this is 6 to 8 exercises? Why not only interview? Because if you have more exercises, there's a more chances of objective will come. And individual errors here, 1 or 2 exercises will go off. So it becomes normalized over the sense, and then you get say results. Now, the beauty of the assessment center, since it is done by the multiple assessors, scientifically has proved that he's got a reliability of 0.65. Whereas normally, if you do normal interview process, what do you do? Somebody come, we give a half an hour or 45 minutes, we just do interview. In that case, that person will give a superior performance in future. Reliability is only 0.19. So since assessment center use multiple tools, multiple assessors, the reliability of the evaluation that person will perform or give a superior results in future becomes much higher. That's why the people go for assessment and development center whenever they are talking about the key component of organization like talent development, recruiting of a key personnel, which makes lot of organization. Not for everybody, the assessment center is not being done. It's done for the people, primarily for the talent management area to identify, sometimes for the succession planning also, and also assessment center used for recruiting at the leadership level or maybe head of the department level, where the chances of failure is very high for the organization. In that case, the organization prefer to go assessment center. Disadvantage, it is a long process, require lot of effort. In 3 days assessment center run, many people get involved. Development of cases takes a long time. So it is a tedious or long process. If you give a simple, if I give you one simple example, if you make correlate, you know many people go for SSB in army. They go to the defense center in Bangalore or Allahabad or something. 3 days they go there and do different type of things. What they are doing? Actually, they are doing the assessment center. They go to the different type of exercises, processes, and through that, they ultimately identify who are the good for them. So army, this type of process was there for a long time. And this type of similar things when we've done the corporate, we have done a different way. Now, how it has been evaluated? So whether it is high presence or low presence, I go the positive or negative. The high positive is 5, absolute negative is 1, that could be in between. So persons are evaluated like that. How do we do it? The first process is first creating generic competence model. So in the organization, say today, we are looking, let's take an academic example, say. The competency required for your university is quite different than the university at maybe at IIM, okay, or ISB. The level of competency for a particular faculty to have is quite different. So every organization has to identify what are the competency for my organization is critical. Same with the organization. The competency for Infosys cannot be the same of competency of Hindustan Lever. Competency of Infosys may not be the similar like Microsoft, because Microsoft is a product company, Infosys is a service company. So each company has to first develop what are the 8 or 10 or 6 key competency the person should have. This is the first step. Once that is what Professor Dhar is saying, you have to identify what are the new competency required for the organization for future, for coming days. After we identify the competency, the next process comes for a particular position. Then say, I am talking about Vice President Marketing. What level of strategic perspective that person should have? What sorts of leadership qualities you should have? Similarly, all this. So each level, we try to create a role template. This is the desired level of competency for a particular. Take the example of BP marketing and sales manager. In the sales manager position, strategic perspective may not be that important. He may be under 3 or 2 position. For him, the commercial acumen should be much higher level. So each role has got a different competency role templates. The second part comes in, develop the competency templates. After we do the competency templates, then we develop the tools, instruments, case study, simulation. Now, it doesn't come from the textbook or somewhere you just pick up the library, something you take up from some psychometric test and use it. Assessment center is trying to create certain tools because most of the tools have been created for a particular organization and for a particular purpose. Now, each organization, whenever develop a particular case study, you have to create a case study which is relevant to that organization. If I keep I'm walking about that university and I'm giving a case study of a product development of Infosys, the person cannot correlate. So every time, every exercise has been trying to create something which is happening in the organization or happened in the organization. We try to create a scenario from that. And that scenario is created such a way, if somebody is going through that process, he should come out with a certain reaction, a certain behavior. If this doesn't create certain behavior, then the assessor cannot assess. Okay. So if you have to take the example, say teamwork. If teamwork I have to assess, one example I can make as a role play. Group discussion. In group discussion, there are normally 6-8 people. And that group example, I'll give a certain example, and then I'll observe how this person is behaving in the group. Is working as an individual, my view, and that is the final. Or he tried to work with other people, try to come out to the solution. So each exercise has kept in mind what competency you are going to assess, and accordingly the tools and instrument and case study and simulation exercise are made. So these developments of these tools are very, very crucial part in developing the assessment center. Once that has been properly done, then the assessment center's results come much, much better if this is done properly. And then the people for 3 days will go through the process. They are undergo each activity, either maybe in 2% or maybe in 1%. Whenever is giving presentation, is 1-to-1. If it is working the role play, 1:2. Case study, they may be 1%. The group discussion, there will be 6 or 8 people. So different groups, they do the exercises. Then all the data, all the observers, what they observe, they classify, they evaluate, and they come back and sit together and compile and integrate the results and come out that where this person is. The red one comes in where that person is desired, like his requirement is trajectory is 4, but he is already only 1. So that was a huge gap. Leadership somewhere there. So this type of results have been identified. Now, if you look at that, if this person has to go for development, will happen where there's a maximum gap in the case of strategic leadership. May not be so much on the leadership. May not be, should be, may not be required on 4, criteria 4 or criteria number commercial argument. So all these templates are looked at it wherever there's a big difference. And based on that thing, individual development plan of that person is developed and that get executed. That what type of development plan will suit them to develop the strategic perspective. Say, for example, it cannot be only they're doing the training program. It requires much more than that. What are the defined development strategy may be there to develop the strategic perspective, competency of this person. So that is what the development center job or IDP, individual development plan, works on. So that's what the work I do. This is the what I wanted to share. So I end with that. So I open to questions.
Yeah, Manisha madam. Manisha madam, you can take the questions.
Dr. Mukherjee, I request you to remove the screen sharing option so that we can
Okay,
all
I will
see you.
remove that. Okay, sir, I will do that. Yeah, Professor Dhar.
Good.
Yes, in the meantime, by the time questions come,
Yes, sir.
on behalf of the students, if we say that a person is competent, and in another case we say the person is skilled, what is the difference? Hello? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So should I repeat the question? The difference between competent and skilled. What is the difference?
Difference between competence and competency. So,
No,
sir
no.
is saying
Competent and skilled. What is the difference?
yeah, competence is a particular skill. And competent, yeah, I think students, you ask for the student, right? They have to answer, right?
No, no, no.
No,
On
no.
behalf of the students,
Students,
the question is that if we say that an individual is competent and in another case we say the person is skilled, what is the difference between competent and skilled?
Okay, skill talked about a particular job, a particular sets of jobs and the sequence of job doing it repeatedly. Say a person is a lead man, is doing the leading for the years and years and together. Is a particular skill to do that. Okay, so he is a competent to do running a lead machine. Okay, but whenever you are talking competency, is not only the skill, it is also the knowledge. Why these operations can be not be done different way? What different speed we can change and how this can happen? How that lead machine and the tools, the role of the machine tools works in different things. So all this knowledge is important and the ability then adds on that become and that along with attitude to do something for today and for tomorrow, for this level of work or higher level work, not only the lead, maybe some other jobs. Then we say he's a talented or he has a high competency because he knows how to not only running the lead machine, lead operation, but he knows how to plan the jobs, how to distribute the work, how to make changes, how to make a modification. All these skills then we will add on, then become a competency.
So competency is the larger concept.
Much larger, add on.
Competency is the larger concept which
Yeah.
contains three. KSA. Skill is one of them.
Knowledge, skill, ability.
Exactly. So skill is one of them.
Skill
So
also.
when all the three are there, then we'll say competent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Professor Mandal.
Yeah. The first one is, do you see a connect between competencies and emotional abilities? And if so, what is the connect? And the second question is, in your view, is there a relationship between competencies and on-the-job performance?
So when I've shown you the function, like, function, competence is a function of knowledge, skill, and ability that we say, KSA. But competency plus attitudes gives you performance. He has all the knowledge, all the skill, all the ability. He don't want to perform. He don't want to work. Then it adds to performance. So it is whether you talk as attitudes or emotional level, whatever the things. So that comes in there. The motive, like, when we were saying in the inner side, now that attitudes coming from the motives, from that motives of whether I should do this job or not should not, whether I should perform or not. So the performance competency should have, but also he should have attitude to perform. This has to be there.
Okay, so a competency coupled with attitude will give you performance. That is number one. But first question is, I didn't get it clearly. If you can kindly repeat that. I was talking about emotional abilities, basically measured with EQ. Is there a connect between EQ and competencies?
As such, whenever you are talking at the emotional, whenever talking competency mapping, we do not take part of the emotional ability part. That is not assessed.
Okay.
Okay. Because emotional ability do have a play, but this is not a part of the competency, part say definitions and the measurement techniques.
Okay.
Sir,
Hello.
Dr. Santosh.
Yeah, I have a question. You very nicely explain about how assessment centers are working for the development. Now with this post-pandemic, when you are observing the social distancing and remote working, how these assessment centers can work? Or those are to be revamped?
Okay. I think in the change scenario, first thing, whatever important need to be defined, what are the competency we are trying to define first? New scenario, what are the competency required? Okay. First, you have to define that. That can be done offhand. Like it's not necessary that you have to go to the office. You can do a series of interview with a lot of people and come out. This organization, this is important. This organization, this is important. So you can define that. Second part, doing the assessment part. Even this assessments, normally, it can be done online also. But normally in that case, the assessment cannot be, because you can give a questionnaire and ask them to fill it up. You cannot do a role play exercise or group discussion exercise, and real behavior doesn't reflect. Whenever you have to do assessment center, you can do the social distancing and everything, but you have to develop in physical setting. In my personal view, it cannot be done on an offline, should not be done as offline to have a better results of the outcome.
But don't you think that post-COVID, this is going to change?
So, because we are not doing for everybody, sir, we are doing for the selective people. We are not doing for a large organization, large number of people, you are doing for selective people. But this can be, has to taken up in that level. Obviously, there is a challenges, but this need to be addressed.
Sure.
This volume is not very large.
See, most of the tools that are presently used for assessment centers are based on social behaviors of individuals. That means it is anticipated that an individual will act in a society, I mean, working society, in a working environment where you have a mix up. Now, perhaps that is something which is, the fundamental thing that is going to change, because you don't know to what extent individuals will come face to face with another individual. And therefore, the entire set of competencies would have to be relooked at, being something which is, disconnected with the social proximity. I don't know whether you would agree to this or like.
Yeah, because you are interested only work-related behavior. You are not interested of social behavior part.
Right.
So work-related behavior which affect your performance is only concern as an organization. Okay, so you should focus only on that. Otherwise, you can gambit become much bigger, then you get lost.
No, even in work situation, all that I tried to remember, the work situation so far, it was assumed that people will come in close contact with each other, and therefore, the set of behaviors would be something. And in future, that closeness would go away, perhaps.
So and yeah, you can identify new behavior, new competency for that. Right. You can identify new competency for that. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Negi, you can directly ask your question. There is question in chat box. Dr. Negi. Okay, I take, sir. The question from Dr. Digambar Negi. The question is, the reliability of assessment and development center is 0.65. But then why many organizations rely on interview techniques while recruiting, whose reliability is only 0.19?
Yeah, because the interview technique is very easy, simple to conduct. Conducting assessment center is a long process. Designing the competency, identify the competency, design the assessment center, running the assessment center, then come out with the results. It is a long process. It takes long time. Unless until it's not a very critical position you're working on, we go simple the recruitment process. But whenever you are going for very general, like say you are recruiting 100 engineers, you cannot go with assessment process. Okay, but you are talking 2 or 3 departmental head or business heads or profit center heads. There, that assessment center is the most appropriate. Similarly, whenever in the organization you have to identify say 30, 40 talents or maybe 5% of your talents or 10% of your total employees. So you identify some of them and then let them go to a process and then figure. That's why, because it is a tedious process, costly process. So that's why large organizations can afford to do that. And you need to have expertise doing that. It's not anybody can design the tools and do the assessment. It is a technical area. And assessment of behavior is itself a skill. And that requires a lot of training. Even conducting interview on the competency-based interview is itself a skill. So people need to be trained. If organization ready to do that, they will go for that. Otherwise, normal process of reference check and interview works on. Multiple round of interview works on.
Hello.
Manisha madam, you can take the
Yes,
questions.
sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
question.
there was some questions on YouTube also, as we are on live on YouTube. One question is, what is the difference between talented person and skilled person?
Yeah, I think Professor Dhar has taken this question.
Sir, and
Okay.
the next is, what are the necessary skills required to be good HR manager considering today's scenario of COVID-19?
Sir, these are from the students, sir. These questions are from
Yes, sir.
students.
Okay, for student part of it, let me explain a little simple example for you. Say Professor Dhar is going to recruit one faculty, or he got a lot of faculty in the department, in the university. From that, he has to identify who are my talents. What will look at it? He'll not look at it, who are my people, do a good teacher. He will be looking at it, out of all the teachers available, how many of them has got research orientation, how many of them involved in a development of educational area, how is the student, how is his performance connect with the students, what is the level of feedback he's getting, what level of administrative capability he can take the responsibility, not just teaching in a classroom and come back. Some teachers may be very good as a very good faculty. Students are 100% happy, results are very happy. May not be is an ideal person for a HOD or maybe dean. But defining a dean, he has to look at a different type of competency beside the teaching competency. Okay. Now, question you are talking about the HR manager. Now, in this organization, the HR manager, you have to define what are the competency he requires. Like HR managers, empathy is one competency. Working with others, networking, teamwork, decision making, planning. So these 5-6 competencies with each organization, like HR manager of university is different than HR manager of Hindustan Lever. Okay, so each company has to identify for my HR manager for this position, what are my competencies are required, and this competency they have to do that.
Okay, sir. The next question is here only by Dr. Yogita. No, she was saying something. Referring to earlier question, can we say skill leads to competency? Skill is short term and competency is long term. Is it so, sir?
What is that?
Skill is short term and competency is long term.
No, skill is a very much inside of a competency. If there's no skill, no competency. If you don't have a knowledge, you have a no competency. If you don't have a skill, you have no competency. It is a basically multiple factor, not plus. Whenever we say function, knowledge, skill, and abilities, everything has to be present. If anything is not there, competence is zero. If you don't know how to do the job, what type of competency it is. If you know the knowledge, if you don't know how to do it, then again the competency is zero.
One more question from a student. Sir, can we say skill is a subset of competency?
It's a component
somewhat
of
same.
competency. It's a component.
Okay.
I'll say component, yes, component.
I think, sir, almost the same questions are there which was covered by you. That's why is again having some.
Yeah, I think last question, Snehata Jaiswal was saying, is competency based on knowledge, skill, ability of an individual, then is based on specific job or common for all? This is quite different. I said the role of VP marketing, the competency requirement is different than a sales manager. The three circle I have shown you, their competency, no, not that one. Okay. Now, each level we have identified for this organization, these are the 6-8 competency, but requirement of each competency for each role will be defined. Say, I gave an example, VP marketing, the strategic perspective is very high. Maybe sales manager strategic perspective is very low. Execution skill for a VP marketing is not very high, maybe the 3. But a sales manager will be 4 or 5.
Yes,
So for each competency, each role, different templates are prepared.
okay, sir.
If that is answered, just nail at a Jaiswal answer.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
One question for the benefit of students.
Yes, sir.
In stage 3 of the process, you mentioned about tools, instruments, case study, like that can be used.
मेरा question chat box में like.
What is the difference between tools and instruments?
Okay. Normally in HR terms, whenever we talk instrument, we talked about psychometric instruments, you know. Okay. So whenever we talk say tools, we let's say role play exercise, in basket exercise, case studies, and these are the things we talk. With HR field, instruments means psychometric instruments. So that's why I put it both the words together. Exercises, tools, instrument together. Normally, actually, in most of so many assessment centers I've done, hardly I could use any psychometric instrument actually, because most of the instruments are personality oriented. Like say, if you look at 16 PF, now 16 PF is a more personality trait, nothing to do with the behavior. So there is no relevance in competency center. Now take MBTI, the preference. Preference is a broad inborn preferences. The MBTI profile will not change. So you cannot do that. Okay. Take the example FIROB. Again, that is their orientation. So I cannot do that. So most of the psychometric instrument doesn't work. But of course, I use the DICS because this is a more of a behavioral tools, work related behavior. So that's why.
So I think
Should I conclude?
Manisha madam? Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you can conclude.
No more questions are there.
Should I
okay.
conclude?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, madam.
Sorry, I have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, please.
Okay, this is Madhura from Bangalore, and I am working around 5 years in IT industry. So regarding the competency and assessment, I have a question. So when we talk about a level of competencies, now looking at the IT industry, there is a revolution of getting things into more skills and more of talent, right? So now here we don't look at the competency, but we look at the skill sets. So due to the demand in the industry and etc. So how do we kind of measure or assess the maturity level in the competency?
Okay. Madhura, what is happening is in your IT sector, skills is most important in the first and second level, right?
Okay.
Okay. In the most of the developer level, we are working on that. But if you looked at the project manager and above level, okay, above team lead, like project managers and above, their skill is not so important. Then this manager competency become more important.
Okay.
Okay. So this competency mapping is only useful for, say, your directors and vice president level, or identifying talents from your project manager and technical lead who can go to that position.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Madam,
ma'am, I
please.
think you can conclude now.
Madam,
Thank you. Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Mukherjee. You have very lucidly presented the whole concept of competency mapping and talent development. You have answered all the queries to the satisfaction of the query who had asked the queries. You have explained how competency mapping can facilitate the talent development and help organizations to meet their strategic and operational goals to create high performance sustainable organizations. COVID-19 has become the accelerator for one of the greatest workplace transformations of our lifetime. Therefore, competency has to be looked into from different perspectives because the context has changed post-COVID. While many unknown still exists, what is clear is that many organizations will not survive the challenge. Some will be spared due to their positioning as essential businesses, and all will be changed forever by this experience. Responding to crisis happens one step at a time, and the decisions made by senior leaders will shape the future of these organizations. Therefore, competency mapping gets all the more importance. Thank you so much for your nice deliberation.
Thank you, all of you,
Thank you.
for asking questions, and Professor Dhar, because putting a more interesting.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Mandal sir.
Yeah. Dr. Mukherjee, I think I would like